Greetings and welcome to another edition of Hawk Talk. My name is Al Moyer and I'm the district superintendent, and my co-host.
I'm Joel Hain, principal of the high school. Thanks for watching.
In today's episode, we have a really exciting initiative to share with you, and I know many of our parents and students are already pretty informed about this, but we'd like to share a little bit of additional information. And Mr. Hain will take on a little bit of a different role here in today's episode because I'd like to include him as one of my interviewees along with Mr. David Fry, our technology coordinator for the district. So we're really excited about having Dave and Joel with us for this episode. The specific initiative that we're talking about is that during the second semester at the high school, the plan is to roll out Chromebooks. And this goes along nicely with our BYOD initiative, the Bring Your Own Device, as well as a lot of the other technology integration initiatives that we have going throughout the district. But mostly the focus is on the high school when it comes to the Chromebooks for the second semester. So my first question would be to Mr. Hain as the building principal. Joel, what is the timeline for rolling out the Chromebooks, and what do you envision being some of the sequential things that might happen along the way?
Well, we've already gotten started with some of our informational parent meetings. Let me step back a second. Since the beginning of the school year, we've been meeting as a faculty. We've been having these Chromebook rollout meetings every Tuesday, and now more recently, almost every day, with Mr. Jason Suter, who's also taking a lead role in making all this happen. We've met with parents twice around conference times, and we're going to have another meeting at some point middle of December just to kind of educate parents as to what the Chromebooks are, how we're doing this, why we're doing this, and why this is a good thing. The students then would be receiving these hopefully early in the second semester, and then we look for the remainder of this school year to be well, an opportunity to use the devices, but also it's going to be great for us to take a look at what's working, what's not working, what do we need to fix as we move forward.
Thank you. Dave, my first question for you, and I think for our Hawk Talk audience, I think it's a very relevant question. First of all, what is a Chromebook?
That's a great question. A Chromebook is a device that was put together by Google to really embrace the idea that the web is a platform that you can run any sort of program or application off of. So the actual device itself is a very thin, very small device. It's pretty light. It's got a great battery life and a very fast startup time, which you can see right there, came right up to our screen, came right out of standby very quickly. Easily the battery life will last all day for our students, and as long as they charge it the night before, they'll be good to go for the whole day. There are no programs on this device. It's just the web. So just a web browser, nothing to install, no viruses, no updates that you have to perform every day. It's just a great little device.
Well, I have a question for both of you. Chromebooks and technology in general, I believe, is really starting to change the role of the classroom teacher. I believe the role of the classroom teacher has never been more important than it is today, even with the technology. Could you share a little bit with our Hawk Talk audience how you perceive the role of the teacher changing during this information age that we're in right now, where actually we're probably on information overload. But Joel, I'll go to you first. How do you see the role of the teacher with the Chromebook?
Well, before I even get to that, I think you mentioned something right there. We're in the middle of a technological revolution in the entire country, the entire world. And as educators, I think we need to take a look at that, recognize it, grasp it, and give our students the tools that they need to be successful moving forward. The teacher, as you said, is the most important thing in a classroom. But as we've heard many speakers say over the past couple of years, no longer is the classroom a place, or the school building is a place where students have to come and get knowledge. Knowledge is at their fingertips each and every day, whether it's through their cell phone, their laptop at home, any way that they can access the internet. So in my opinion now, the teacher is somebody who needs to help students organize and understand and know how to use that knowledge. What is good knowledge? What is incorrect? How do they determine the difference between the two? And just moving forward, they need to be the facilitator of the classroom.
And I would add to that, I think our goal as a school district moving forward is really to help the students develop their creativity, collaboration, and communication. These are three skills that everybody's going to need in the 21st century, and it really helps businesses, it helps the students with communicating with their friends, with their colleagues, and it's really something that we have to help develop.
Wow, this is really exciting. One of the things that we hear from time to time from some people in our community is the cost factor of technology. And I know Mr. Fry has been able to work within our current technology budget where we are not going over that with the purchase of the Chromebooks. Any comments related to cost or how this impacts the budget?
Yeah, we've been wanting to actually do something like this for years. But until Google came out with this device, which is it's going to be $250 for us to buy one of them. So it really is a lot cheaper than a lot of the devices that we bought in the past. The other thing is that we aren't going to have to add any support or servers or infrastructure on our end. They're very low impact for the technology department. So they really are the perfect device for education right now.
Thank you. Well, what would you say to the parent or to anyone in the community that might be a little bit concerned about internet safety, and then also while here at school, the possibility that some of our students, most of them make great decisions on a daily basis, but every now and then we have a student that might make a poor decision and possibly get into a site that would not be appropriate. Are there precautions here at school that we've thought about for that situation?
Absolutely. All school districts are mandated by the federal government to provide SIPA compliant filtering, which is the Child Internet Protection Act, which means that we have to block certain sites, anything objectionable or pornographic, from all devices in the district. And this filtering will also apply to when the devices are not here. So whenever these devices are used, they will be going through our filtering and protection for the children.
Very good. Is there any chance that a student could do harm to the network as a result of our technology with the Chromebooks or BYOD or anything like that? Do we have some safeguards in place in that regard?
For the BYOD, we put a lot of safeguards in place where the BYOD network is actually completely separate from the rest of our production network. So anybody that's on that network, it's almost like they were out on the internet trying to come back in. There's really nothing that they can do. Now with the Chromebooks, it's kind of a different story because there aren't any programs on that device, so there really isn't a large footprint that somebody could, get in and do any damage to our network.
My final question, for those families at home that don't have a lot of resources and so on, I know one of the things that I believe that we all philosophically believe is that this levels the playing field a little bit. But if a family doesn't have internet at home, are there some options or things that they can do beyond the school day where they can utilize this great resource?
Yes.
Well, there certainly is. I mean, first of all, there's locations throughout the community that offer free Wi-Fi, free internet to students. But on top of that, in the packet of papers that we're going to be sending home with parents and have already done so, the very last page has an offer out from Comcast, I believe.
Yep.
All right. For any student that is eligible for free and reduced lunch, they're able to get internet at a price of $9.95 for per month, which is substantially cheaper than what students who are not eligible for that would have to pay. So they're able to get internet at a reduced cost. If that still is not doable, there are places throughout the community where they can go. And of course, there's growing pains. As with any time that you start a new initiative, we are going to be figuring a lot of this stuff out over the first couple of months. There's going to be issues that Dave hasn't thought about, that I haven't thought about, you haven't thought about, and this is stuff that we're going to have to deal with on a situational basis.
I'll just add one thing to that. We did just recently hire a help desk person, and one of their jobs and responsibilities will be to try to keep one of our lab areas open later in the day so that students will be able to use it.
So it sounds great that not only do we have the equipment in place, but then it sounds like we have the resources then to help people along the way if there are issues and things like that. Any final remarks regarding the Chromebooks or BYOD or technology integration in general here at Hanover Public?
One thing I'd like to mention is the ultimate goal here is a student will come in as a freshman and receive a Chromebook, and they'll keep that Chromebook for their 4 years in Hanover High School. Now, the first couple of years dealing with some of the upperclassmen, things will be a little bit different, but our goal is to have technology in the students' hands from the second they walk into the high school until the second that they cross the stage of graduation.
Nothing to add except I think we're really excited, and I think we're really on the cutting edge here.
It's great to be a Nighthawk.
Yes,
Good
it
day
is.
to be a Nighthawk. On behalf of Joel, Dave, and myself, thanks for watching this episode of Hawk Talk.